Today's video, gents, is a masterclass on the simple shirt collar. And when I say simple, I do not mean non-important. When you understand that the collar frames the face, all the options you have out there to make you look great, you realize this small style detail can have a huge impact on your professional appearance. So to get started, let's talk about the three main types of collar classifications. First up, we've got the turn down collar. This is the most modern of the three styles, and it's by far the most common nowadays. In fact, 99.9% of collars manufactured today are a variation of a turn down collar. Now, the characteristics of the turn down collar, as the name implies, this collar turns down and touches the upper part of the torso. Next up, you've got the wing collar. This collar actually predates the turn down collar, and as the name implies, it has small wings out here at the point. It does not, though, turn down. Now, the reason this collar style still survives is it is the go-to collar style for black tie or white tie events. And to round things off, let's talk about the band collar. Now, some traditionalists are going to say, you know what, this isn't even a collar, it's just a band that goes around the neck. I'm going to include it because, in my opinion, it does frame the face. The band collar, popular throughout Asia. We see this on both jackets and shirts. All right, Jen, so now let's talk about the various parts of a turn down collar and how variations of these parts create pretty much every collar style we see out there. First up, we've got collar points and collar point length. Your collar points, that's going to be the end of the collar. Now, the collar point length is the distance from the collar points to where it meets the collar band. The collar band, it's a strip of fabric that goes around the neck, and it traditionally is fastened with a button. Now, your collar height, this is actually the collar when it's been folded and how far it goes up the neck. And let's not forget about the tie space. This is the distance up on the band between the top of the folded collar parts when the shirt is buttoned. And of course, the collar spread. This is the angle that is formed between the collar points. Pretty simple, right? Well, gentlemen, here's the crazy thing. You adjust that collar point length, you adjust that collar spread, you can come up with hundreds of different types of collars. Now, that being said, gents, we're not going to go overboard here, but I am going to talk about the most common styles, and I'm also going to talk about a lot of other great styles that I think could really enhance your appearance. Wait, stop. I just realized I didn't explain why are shirt collars so important. So let me explain this with an analogy. You walk into an art studio and you don't know anything about art, but you see this picture, it is right up there in this beautiful frame, given this position of honor in the art gallery. Well, what do you think? You think this is valuable? You think this is expensive? Yeah, maybe you don't like the art, but you notice the way it's presented, the frame. The same thing for you. People meet you again and again throughout the day. They don't know you, they don't know your background, but what they see is the clothing. That collar frames your face. It makes your face look more pronounced. You don't want something wrinkled, you don't want something droopy, you don't want something imbalanced. You want it to frame your face properly. Gents, if you want the perfect shirt collar look with the existing shirts in your wardrobe, you need to check out Slick Collar. Seriously, I'm wearing a Slick Collar right now, and what I love about this company is how easy they make it to improve the existing shirts in your wardrobe to get that perfect collar look. What I also love is it works with any type of jacket. So you're going out, you throw on your suede jacket, you throw on a leather jacket. Guess what? Your collar is still looking great. You throw on a sports jacket, you want to dress up your look, but you don't want to wear a necktie. Slick Collar has you covered. It's going to keep the collar right up there looking awesome. Now, they've got two different sizes that they send you. I really like this. They send you the slim and they send you the regular. I find the regular works on almost all my shirts, where I think the slim is really nice if you want to wear it with a polo. They also send you 4 premium color stays, and I like how everything comes in an everyday carry little metal box that explains how to use it, and it just keeps everything in place. Guys, Slick Collar is a small business based out of Canada. I love what these entrepreneurs are doing. So go show them some love. Click on that link down in the description and go check them out. See what these guys are doing. I find that this is just a creative innovation to solve a problem that I know a lot of you guys have, especially when you're doing those meetings, you're walking in and you want to look good, but that collar is drooping, falling all over the place. This right here is an easy fix to that problem. Again, gents, use that link down in the description. Awesome company. I'm proud to have them as a sponsor. Go check them out. So the first collar style we're going to talk about is the most common one out there, and that is the classic point collar. Now, the spread angle on a classic point is going to be about 50 to 70 degrees. You're going to see a collar height of about 1 3/4 of an inch, and the collar points are going to be about 2 3/4 inch to 3 inches in length. The front band height is going to be about 3/4 of an inch, and in general, you're not going to see much tie space. So now you may be wondering, why is this particular collar style the most common one we see out there in the entire world? And there are 2 reasons for this. First up, history. So as you know, a lot of menswear comes out of military uniforms. This collar type no exception. This came out of military uniforms during World War I, World War II. We saw it standardized. We saw this particular style just being manufactured quite a bit, and so it continued over into menswear. And then when we look at menswear, what do we notice about this collar style? We look at the proportions of a man. We look at this collar style. It suits the widest range, the most average men out there who are about 5'9", about 170, 190 pounds. They've got a particular face shape. This collar style suited those proportions. Now, that being said, a lot of you guys are not average. You're taller, you're shorter, you're thinner, you're bigger, you're heavier, you're stout. And so what collar style is going to work for your face, for your body? A couple things here. You want to go for balance, and you want to pay attention to proportion. So when I'm talking about balance, you want to go for a collar style that is not going to make your face look wider. You've got a narrow, long face, so you don't want to go for a narrow, long collar that's going to make it all look even longer. No, you want to go for balance. You want to go for more of a wider collar. You want to go more for a narrow collar if you're a wider faced guy. And that is the balance that you're shooting for. Next up, let's talk about proportions. And this is all about size. Because if you're 6'8" and you're a big dude, you want to go for a larger collar. You're not going to want to have collar points that only go to 2 3/4 of an inch. You want to probably go for 3.5 inches. How are you going to be able to find shirts like that? Well, one, you're going to have to look around, maybe go for companies that actually design things for larger men, or you're going to want to go custom because proportion is key. If you ever notice a huge guy, he looks huge because his head in proportion to his body is smaller. That's why cartoon characters, when you look at them, they've got these big heads on little bodies. It makes them look cute. It makes that proportion is off. You want to make sure the collar does not make you look disproportionate, and it can. So that is something you want to pay attention to. Now, what about narrow straight point collars? And this is when the collar angle is going to be 45 degrees or less. In general, I say be careful with these. They can look odd, and another issue is you need to make sure if you're going to wear this with a tie, which you probably should, that tie knot is going to have to be smaller. I have seen these work for especially smaller guys, men that actually want to just go for a unique look. I know people that love The Godfather talk about that collar, but it is something to pay attention to. Is it getting too narrow? I think, 30 degrees, 25 degrees, it just looks kind of odd. Although I have made collars like that when I used to own a custom clothier. Next up, let's talk about spread collars. And if you watch enough of my videos, you know I love spread collars because they look great, especially when you do not wear a tie with them. Basically, they get out of the way. The angle of the spread is going to be over 100 degrees, and you can see wide angle spreads that go to like 140 degrees. You're also going to see variations in length. I do think it's better when they're a bit shorter, like 2 3/4 of an inch, maybe 2.5 inches. Again, it's about getting that collar out of the way, and it looks good whenever you're wearing it without a necktie. That being said, if you decide to wear a necktie with a spread collar, that can look amazing as well because it allows the necktie knot to really shine. And that is when you want to go for basically a symmetrical knot, and that's going to be once the same on both sides. Also one that's going to be a little bit wider to be able to deal with that wider tie space. Now, spread collars have become a lot more common over the last 20 years, but they are still considered to be more casual than their point collar counterparts. So if you're going for a business interview, it's probably better to wear your point collar versus the spread collar. That being said, if you really know your style, if you really like the look of a spread collar, then go for it. Now, what if you've got a wide face? Can you still pull off a spread collar? Of course you can. Just wear it with confidence, but understand it is going to make your face look a little bit wider, but have fun with it if you really like the look. Now, if you've got a narrow face or a regular shaped face, spread collars look great on you. Now, what about button-down collars? Button-down collars are a variation of the turn-down collar, the point collar in particular, that are going to be more casual because of that visible button. These come out of the playing. Basically, they were playing polo with these things, and they were flaring up the shirts initially. Yes, they wore dress shirts out on the polo fields, and they said, if we put a button right here, it's going to stay in place, and this is exactly what happened. It became a fashion statement. Certain manufacturers picked this up, and all of a sudden, we see it now in classic menswear. Now, normally, this is going to be on a more casual button-down shirt. You would never wear this in a formal environment. I see the guys make this mistake all the time. You can wear it with a necktie, but understand it's probably better to be worn with a sports jacket, with a navy blazer, not really with a suit into a business meeting. But generally, you're going to see it on shirts that are using an Oxford or using a more casual fabric as well. Now, a variation of this is the hidden button-down, which I absolutely love. You don't actually see the button, and it keeps the collar in place. Now, what about tab collars? Tab collars are great if you've got a longer neck. And if you've got a long neck, you know what I'm talking about. This is something you're just conscious of. Well, a tab collar is going to allow you to wear a shirt collar that goes up higher. At the same time, it's going to look proportioned. The key with the tab collar is that tie space up at the top, it's going to be a little bit wider, and the collars, instead of having that flared out angle, they're going to go almost straight down. There's also going to be a tab underneath that's going to keep them down flush with the rest of the shirt. Now, because of that tab collars have to be worn with a necktie, but I think they're really an elegant option for guys that, just have longer necks. Now, what about pin collars or eyelet collars? These are collars that are specifically designed to be used with a pin. This is something that's a decorative piece. It's not necessary, but a lot of dandies love wearing this, and I think it actually looks good on the right guy. But understand, you've got to wear this with a necktie. It does add an extra step to when you're putting the collar on, but if you know how to pull this off and you're into it, then go for it. Now, what about club collars? These are going to be collars where at the collar point, we've got a curved end. We're also going to see that collar point length a little bit shorter. These are very casual. In fact, they come from boys' schools out of England, and this is just something that some guys like the look. I think it's a very casual look. If you want to go for it, if you feel actually proportion-wise, if you're a smaller guy and you just really like the overall feel, go for it, but it is very casual. And the same thing with curved collars, and this is basically where the fabric going down from the band actually curves out, or I've even seen it curve in. Any of these curves, any of these deviations from the norm do make the collar much more casual, but if you want to go for something unique, you can definitely wear that and draw attention to yourself. Now, what about removable collars or stiff collars? Yes, this used to be a thing, especially when everyone used to have to do their laundry by hand. You would simply remove that collar and you would scrub it and clean it because collars were white, and that also brings up contrasting colors. You're going to see that out there as well. Basically, when you have a white collar with maybe a blue shirt, you can see it in the finance world, was made popular by the movie Wall Street and the designer Alan Flusser. I will say all of those are casual, they're fun, they're options, but nowadays removable collars, you really don't see it out there. You will see those soft collars on polo shirts. These are still a collar type, but they are going to be very casual because they're made from just an elastic soft material. So what video to watch next? How about 10 things stylish men never do? You know what stylish men do? They click on this video right here and go check it out. It's a good one. Go check it out, guys.